Hey listeners, this is Unlock the LSAT and you're listening to The Key. And today I wanted to talk about how many times can you actually take the LSAT. And of course, a lot of you guys probably already know that you can take it 7 times over a lifetime. And then we have 5 times within the current reportable score period. However, for some reasons and some individuals, you might be able to take more than just 7. And it depends on who you are and how you've been taking the tests. And I do believe that there's a way that, you can do appeals individually on a case-by-case basis. I can actually do more than just 7, but I never have done an appeal. So, one reason I can is because I took one of them before September 2019, which does not count. And then I've also taken the LSAT Flex, the May 2021 as well. So I technically can do up to 9. But chances are I won't do that because I've come across the 5-year or 5 times within the current reportable score period, which runs from since June 2020. And I've spoken with representatives from LSAC, and I don't think I still really understand how the current reportable score period works. Because if it says since June 2020 right now, then June 2025 has come and gone. So yeah, that's a little bit confusing. But I wouldn't be trying to take it any more additional times if I have to pay out of pocket anyway. Anyway, so the first time I took, like you guys already know, June 2019, then I took it in May 2020, then I took it again January 2023, then I took it again January 2024. Then I took it June 2024 as well, and then I just took it in August 2025. So I technically within that bracket have 1 more left within the 7 times, but that's not really true because 2 of those initial takes does not count, so I could technically take it 9 times. So it helps to be informed. Check out the site for yourself. You might want to call the LSAT yourself. Make sure that they're fully understanding what you're saying, because I was getting conflicting information almost, and then I had to repeat to the lady, and then that's when she clarified that the score period was the issue in terms of me being able to take 2 more next year or something like that to get that whole 9 maxed out. All right. You shouldn't feel bad about retaking. I don't think that everyone should be stacking up takes back to back. I don't think that's wise at all. It's you have to be consistently seeing your score range before you do something like that. I also don't believe that people should cancel first scores that they feel are unrepresentative of their capability if they're scoring 170s on PT. If you've gotten something solid as a score, especially like, I know maybe a 150 doesn't feel as good for someone that high, but it's not a 120, it's not a 130, it's not a 140. I think you could keep it. But for some reason, people have itchy fingers or itchy hands and they want to cancel that score. I've never canceled out of my own money. I've used the fee waiver score cancellation. So, and there was one time I did not use it when I should have. I had a time when between my mind and just it wasn't the best setting for me to take that test, and that one was a ridiculous score, but I did not cancel it for whatever reason. But now it's gone. It disappeared because it's old. But that was the long haul. Because that was May 2020, the flex option. So yeah, I don't think that people should have itchy fingers when it comes to like, oh, well, I've been scoring in the 170s. This is my first test, and I saw 162. This is horrible. I don't know what that person's problem is. It's better than a 120 something or a 130 something. It's a lot different than when you've been seeing 170s and you get a 160 something on your first one, and then all of a sudden you take another one and it drops down or it goes into the 150s. That's a completely different thing. But that's just my opinion. If you have the money to spare or if you have a fee waiver that's giving you score cancellation for free, I can't stop you. You just want to make sure you're making an informed, conscientious decision there. And then when it comes to addendums, I have been hearing about explaining massive score increases in an addendum, but I think that's a waste of time. I'm not really sure, unless you have things on your record that people would reasonably have to think, oh, this person couldn't possibly do this on their own accord. They had to be cheating. I don't really know why you'd write up an addendum on this. Like, I might have been missing something. I gotta find out which law schools people are saying if you see a big increase, you have to write them an addendum. Unless it's like a transformative story, like, oh, in my case, that's where I feel like I'd want to write an addendum, but not really at the same time. It's very helpful in my own case, but not everybody would need to explain if they're doing everything right from the top. Like, you don't need to explain that for me. I think addendums could potentially be used if you have less than a 3.0. And there was some health reasons that contributed to this. And then maybe for people who are used to scoring high and then they didn't see that on test day. And keep in mind that addendums, at least that I'm aware, they can only be submitted with your application before your application is completely sent over to the school. I have not known about being able to add things to your application after it's already sent. There's just so much space there that I don't think that should even be a thought in your mind beyond maybe specific things that need to be sent from one school to another. But anything beyond that, I don't really think you should be having to add any extra files once it's in. You had time that application, a single application, can take you a good while on when you're signed into LSAT. So yeah, you want to make sure that you're doing everything from a sound place, ideally. I have personally taken the liberty of submitting before finalizing my scores and things of that nature, but I take calculated risks. But as for telling other people, I'd recommend that you are completely solid about what score you've seen already, what scores range you're in. I'd really wait until you've seen your final take before submitting everything. That's why I don't really think people should be submitting in January. or February. It's not that you can't, but I don't think it's ideal. Funding tends to be more at the beginning. You don't want to be rushing your applications, but I don't think you want to drag it out either. So that's my thought on when you're going to apply and also when you need an addendum. Is there anything else? I don't really think so. So once again, on that addenda note, save it for things that really, really might concern someone. Especially like maybe if your score is beneath their 25th percentile completely, then you might want to write an addendum, especially if you have a good solid reason, because if you have some trashy reason, that doesn't really help. LSAT, journey, gaps, or no, I don't really think so. The only reason you might need or want to do an addendum is if you've just literally never seen your score that you've been PTing or practice tests and seeing on an official take. Let's say you took it 5 times, then that might be a time to like write an addendum, but I don't really think it's necessary in every single case. It's like a case by case basis. And I think that's going to be about it. I'm going to release this around score release day for September 2025. So I hope that people get good news and keep an eye out for the next episode. Have a great day.